The Niners made a smart move not re-signing Mike McGlinchey. He's going to Denver. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But so, okay, they didn't make a mistake bringing him back, but they have a hole at right tackle. It's a very important position, and the guy they have starting there right now is Colton McKivitz, who has started 5 games in his career, and I don't think he's the next Jake Brendel who's going to become a quality starter overnight. I think they need to get a replacement for Mike McGlinchey who's not on the roster, and that's not easy because in free agency, that guy's $19 million a year, and they can't afford that. And in the draft, those guys get taken in round 1. The guys who can start right away. End of story. So they don't have a round 1 or a round 2 pick. So how are the Niners going to replace Mike McGlinchey? You got any ideas, Dad?
No. It's not, first of all, I'd like to change the verb. It's not replace Mike McGlinchey, improve over Mike McGlinchey. Because in spite of what Denver thinks, he's not the real deal. So they need to have someone better than Mike McGlinchey. Would you agree?
Significantly better.
Significantly better. Could they package picks and get up to the first round?
No, they don't have enough picks to get to the first round. They could get maybe into the second round. But again, I don't think you can just find a day 1 starting rookie on a Super Bowl winning, contending team in round 2. That's a risk.
Okay.
You got to get in round 1.
Let me ask you a question then. Why did they go for the defensive lineman and pay all that money to Hargrave if they have this crushing, obvious need at right tackle? Why did they prioritize one over the other? And I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, it's a good question. There could be a couple of answers. They could have a solution up their sleeve in the draft, a way to get in round 1. Or they could really think that they're going to get by with Colton McKivitz at right tackle. I'm telling you, the Eagles don't have anyone. Every single offensive lineman on the Eagles is better than Colton McKivitz. Every single offensive lineman on the Chiefs is better than Colton McKivitz. No serious Super Bowl team has a backup like that starting at right tackle.
So they have 2 question marks, 2 issues, both on the offense, quarterback and right tackle. Wow, that's kind of tough.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that they're really thinking Colton McKivitz is the answer. So I'm going to say something, Dad. I think they need to think about how to get into the first round, and I think they might be thinking about it, and I think there's only 2 ways to do it. 2. They could trade Brandon Aiyuk, or they could trade Trey Lance. One of the 2. Those are the 2 guys that get you. They could trade Nick Bosa, but they won't, and they shouldn't. Brandon Aiyuk could get you in the first round, maybe the back half of it. I don't even know what Trey Lance is worth in the trade right now. It's possible he's not worth the first-round pick anymore because he hasn't done anything in the NFL. But they could think, look, Brandon Ayuk's really good, but they have a bunch of really good players on offense, and they need a right tackle. They have a bunch of guys they can throw the ball to. They need a right tackle. That could be the trade they want to do. Or if they like Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy, they could say, we really like Trey Lance, but we need a right tackle, so we're going to trade him. I mean, what do you think of those potential moves to get a day 1 starter in the draft at right tackle?
Okay, I like how you're framing it. So let's say to get a right tackle, who would you move on from, Brandon Aiyuk or Trey Lance? Wow, that's a brain buster. It's giving me a headache.
Yeah.
Let me say what I like about Aiyuk. He is one hell of a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. He does everything. He can go deep. He has great hands. He runs great routes, and he's tough. He's a fighter. He will fight. He will fight with anyone. He fought with Fred Warner.
He plays angry. I love that.
He plays angry, and he's their best wide receiver.
No question.
Deebo Samuel may be a better player because of all the things he does, but Aiyuk is a better wide receiver than Deebo Samuel. I would hate to see him go. On the other hand, if you get rid of Trey Lance, you may be getting rid of the next Russell Wilson. Not
He's
that
a
Russell
quarterback.
Wilson is Russell Wilson anymore.
Yeah.
So who would I trade? You want to know who I'd trade? I would trade, if it came down to it, I would trade the quarterback.
You would trade Trey?
I would. If it came down to it, to get a right tackle, I would trade the quarterback.
I think I would trade. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because Aiyuk has already proven himself.
That's fair. Put it this way, though. I think I would trade the wide receiver because you can replace wide receivers. Wide receivers are not hard to find. It's so hard to find quarterbacks, and you never know which one is going to end up being good. So you might want to just keep them just in case. I don't know. I think I would also. I don't know what Trey Lance is worth. It's possible if you put him on the trade block unofficially, you started getting calls. People say, "I'll give you a third, give you a late second." He hasn't done anything. How can the Niners ask for I don't know. Maybe if they get a first round pick, that's a different story. But it's possible he can't get that, and only Aiyuk can. I don't know.
Okay, so let's put Trey Lance out of the equation. If a team calls and says, we'll give you a first-round pick for Aiyuk, and you know you could use it for a right tackle, would you make that move?
Yes.
Okay, I would too.
Again, the quarterback on this team can throw the ball to George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings. They drafted a wide receiver last year, Danny Gray, in round 3. There are options to throw the ball to. Who the hell is playing right tackle? You can't fake it there. That guy plays every single snap, and he's blocking the best athletes on defense. The guy. He's protecting your quarterback. He's so important. He's got to be better than Mike McGlinchey, and that's not on the team right now. So I would do it. I would sacrifice Brandon Aiyuk for the right tackle. Sorry.
Okay, how likely do you think that is to happen?
50-50. I think it could
Actually,
happen.
It could happen?
I think it could happen. I think Brandon Aiyuk would be all for it. I think he keeps his mouth shut, but I think it's pretty clear he thinks he doesn't get the ball enough. He's like 4th in the pecking order over here because McCaffrey, Deebo, and Kittle are getting paid so much. I don't think the Niners – I think he'd be open to it. And I don't think the Niners are going to give him a long-term extension. I don't think they can afford to. Maybe they will. But if you need something, you can trade him now. You can keep one more year, trade him next year. But they need a right tackle. And I don't – Colton McKivitz is not a solution. Can't be a solution. That's just not taking the season seriously. I'm sorry.
I'm not aware that much of his play. What are his limitations?
Colton McKivitz? I mean, he was a 5th-round pick. He's not a particularly good athlete. They cut him at one point. He was on their practice squad. He started 5 games, tough. Like Jake Brendel, at least, you could look at his combine results and say, like, this guy's a really good athlete. Maybe he just needs an opportunity. This McKivitz is he's a solid, try-hard backup who is not athletic enough to hold up as a starter against edge rushers in the NFL. He will get exposed. Worse than McGlinchey. Over a full season.
All right.
Can't happen.
Well, do you think they are actively going to try to get a good right tackle, or do you think they have a blind spot there?
I think they want a good right tackle. I mean, they spent a 1st-round pick on a right tackle, Mike McGlinchey. He never ended up being a special player, but the idea was let's spend the 9th pick in the draft on a right tackle. It's an important position. So now he's gone, and now all of a sudden they're going to turn to some former 5th-round pick who was on their practice squad? Like, I don't think so. I think they're in the market for a right tackle. They don't want people to know it. I think, we got Colton McKivitz. We love him. No, you're probably in the market for a right tackle, and you're trying to figure out how to get in round 1, and it's not going to be easy, and you don't want to alienate Brandon Aiyuk in the process if you don't end up trading him, so everything has to be hush-hush, but they're probably trying to figure it out. How we get up there?
Okay, I hope they are.
Yeah, I would think they are. Yeah, I would think they are.
Because if they don't get a right tackle, they could get 3 quarterbacks injured. Lickety split.
Oh, yeah. You know what they'd be in? They'd be in Dutch.
They'd be in Dutch.
You don't want to be in Dutch.